Hello guys, OverBidden here. In this video, I will talk about my experience of playing Lost Ark for the last 20 days since the game released in NA as a 100% free-to-play play. And today is March the 3rd, 2022. The main purpose of this video is to show how I spent my time in the game. Please note that the game and the general knowledge, as well as the gear level of the general player base, increases dramatically every day. Depending on the time that you see this video, the information that is provided may be outdated. What I can say about my time in Lost Ark is that I tried to advance in this game in all aspects, and I absolutely enjoyed it. I'm leaving all my experience behind before I move on to other games, and here comes the video. For a total of 250 hours in the game as a free-to-play player, at around the 100-hour mark, I managed to accumulate enough gold to trade for crystalline aura, which is usually bought with real money and is absolutely essential for the game. I then managed to develop 6 characters. Most of them are doing Chaos and Guardians dailies and Abyssal Dungeons weeklies. I also put a lot of focus on Una's dailies to set up a good foundation for my late game. I was keeping up with the daily report system as well, mostly for all the gold games at this stage of the game. At the time that I decided to stop playing for various reasons, which I will mention later, I sent away about 30k gold worth of resources and gold, which by the time can be translated to just less than 4k crystals or just less than $40. If I were to use up those resources and the untradeable resources that I have right now, they should be enough to push me to tier 3. Although for the last 3 days, I was using all the gold and resources to day trade in the auction house, which I will talk more about that later in the video. My stronghold currently is at level 18 and has finished most of the important research. My roster is at level 60, which is just a level to unlock another permanent talable position for all my characters. My engravings are all over the place, but they allow me to beat all content in tier 2. I have also leveled up some life skills and accumulated some resources. The number of cards that I have is decent for early game, and I unlocked many card slots and some storage spaces using the crystals that I trade with gold that was earned in-game. There are so many things that I enjoyed in Lost Ark. The combat system is fluid, the skills and engraving systems are well designed, different classes have clear identities, learning new guardians and raid bosses are exciting, and navigating through different systems to maximize my efficiency and the material game is rewarding as well. Here are a few resources that I use daily in-game. Here's a daily checklist that I developed from all my characters. And after having the checklist, the next step is to have an Excel sheet to keep track of the progress across all characters. And since each character has several Bifrost locations and a single Song of Return saved location, depending on the resources that are needed for each character, organizing these saved locations and route can really speed up the time of doing different Una's quest, reports, life skill gatherings, and daily timed activities. A few other resources that's worth mentioning. Here is an Excel sheet that I wrote to compare the exchange rate between gold and crystals and the item price in the Marie's shop and the gold auction house. So I can buy discount items and sell them to whales to make a profit. There are so many good resources online, and one of them that I find particularly useful is the ability stone optimizer that maximizes the chance of making any particular ability stone. And here's the Excel sheet that I used to day trade in the gold auction house, which I will go deeper later. Having said all that and having spent so much enjoyable time in the game, I decided to quit the game for the following 3 reasons. Number 1, the pay feature in the game. Number 2, the time-gated and grind-gated content and mundane daily routines that really disrespect my time and promotes pain. Number 3, I find that the most efficient way to get a wealth is to day trade in the auction house, which is not the purpose I played the game. Let me first address the elephant in the room for Lost Ark, the real money aspect of the game. I want to preface this topic by saying players have every right to get ahead in the game utilizing all the tools available in-game, and only pointing my criticism directly towards the game system and developers. I also think that whether the game is pay to win or not is more of a personal opinion rather than a logical fact. different people hold different opinions on how much paying is acceptable for different levels of advantages, and people have different definition on what is winning as well. I respect different takes on this subject, and here I am simply stating mine. I think there is a distinction between different levels of pay to win, and based on this definition, Lost Ark has clearly reached level 3. I think for any game that involves any competition between players, whether the competition is strictly PvP or PvE, where players are comparing characters, gears, and content progression, if paying real money in the game itself can give players advantages over players that are not paying, no matter if the game is enjoyable or not, this feature alone can really leave a bad taste in my mouth. And I can't in good conscience to support games with this model long term. I strongly believe that inside of the game, any advancement should solely be the reflection of a player's skills and commitment. I also believe that if more gamers hold tight to this standard rather than allowing the slippery slope happens again and again, I think the industry as a whole will provide more enjoyable games for us. It really saddens and worries me about the future of the industry that a pay-to-win game is so popular. I am talking about Lost Ark, of course. To me, Lost Ark is a pay-to-win game. In the game's current state, the main goal for me and for majority of the players is to trace higher gear scores and to further optimize characters in order to access, beat, and prepare for higher level content. Of course, various in-game non-paying methods exist to allow for progression, but there's no denying that paying unequally allows player to reach the main goal much faster. The more a player pays, the more progression that this player will have compared to all other non-paying players with similar skills and commitment. The fact of the matter is, inside of the game itself, by clicking the very first obvious button, real money can be used to buy in-game crystals, and the in-game crystals can be used not only to buy cosmetic items or storage spaces, which is what I can support, but its main usage is to buy materials directly from the in-game shop to upgrade gears or up their upgrade chances, or other resources to help players advance in different in-game systems, such as instantly finish a building upgrade, instantly finish a daily quest, drastically boost the relationship with NPCs, etc. to advance their power faster versus players that are not paying real money. More importantly, the money bought in-game crystals can be exchanged directly to in-game gold, which is the currency for the whole auction house of the entire game. Gold can be used to buy majority of the items in the game that the players are striving for. For example, upgrade materials for gears, combat skills, combat items, upgrade materials for stronghold, achievement items, yes, even achievement items, upgrade for ships, gears themselves, or skill gems, etc. The whole system is like running a marathon, where participating alone can definitely be fun, but getting ahead provides more enjoyment as well. Rather than everyone starting and running under the same rules, paying allows participants to ride a bicycle, or a motorcycle, or a car, or even an airplane. Sure, I can try to run faster and use better running techniques, and sure, the one that buys the airplane needs to know how to fly it, but why the hell there's an airplane in the marathon? And why the hell can he also take a shortcut while he's already in the airplane already? Should I just enjoy my own slow running instead? Another big reason why I quit the game. Time is limited, and the most important resource in the game was Lost Ark. Not the difficulty, but the time, and I feel that my time is being disrespected. A player can only spend so many hours in the game daily, and there are always things to do across all characters. In order to progress further into the game, which is gated by gear level or upgrade materials, a big portion of the time that a player spends daily in the game currently is to finish the daily routines on as many characters as possible. All these daily activities are first exciting but becomes extremely mundane and repetitive for me after a short while, and many of them can be bypassed entirely or speed up tremendously simply by paying. Of course, a more experienced player can better organize and prioritize these activities to do them more efficiently. For example, while doing countless chaos dungeons, the most efficient way is to quit at the beginning of the third map to maximize the shard game and the secret rooms encounters while using the least amount of time. Another example, the daily Una quest route can be optimized by Bifrost save locations and Son of Return locations. Another example, after finishing a chaos dungeon, I can train the map with other players or sell the map slot to make 3 times the profit. Another example, I can make only alternative characters that are utility focused or utilize only 2 skill gems to make them easier to level up, cheaper to be effective, and easier to get into groups. Sure, I can grind hours, days, weeks from point A to point B before I enjoy the real content, or go grind other things that can't be bought with real money, or I can simply swipe my credit card and do those immediately. The game is designed to put layers upon layers of time-consuming, repetitive, time-gated tasks before the exciting content to promote pain, and I feel that all my time that is spent in overcoming those obstacles are being disrespected. And here's the third reason why I quit the game. In order to overcome those obstacles as a free-to-play player, I find that flipping items in the gold auction house by taking advantage of the supply and demand and utilizing the price fluctuation is simply the more effective way to accumulate wealth than playing the game itself, which is just the nail in the coffin for me from Lost Ark. Let me show you what I mean. By simply tracking the price for different items that are sold in the auction house at different times of the day, I find a clear pattern that the price for a lot of the items dips when the supply is high and shoots right back up when the demand is high. This price fluctuation is simply the cause of oversupply after daily, weekly, and big events resets, and the time in between when the demand is higher. This fluctuation is more than enough to cover the transition cost and leaves a big margin. This phenomenon is even more extreme before the weekly resets when players are eager to push for higher level content. By taking advantage of this price fluctuation, I was able to accumulate at least 30% games every day for 4 days straight and tripled my money by flipping items alone. On the craziest day, I was able to all in on the T2 Guardian Stones in the morning after daily resets on the last day before the weekly resets at 15 to 16 unit price and dump all of them at 24 unit price 14 hours later. I was also keeping track of the gold to crystal exchange rate so I can always exchange for crystals using the gold that I earned at a better price. So what's next for me if I were to keep playing the game? Using a moderate daily gains of 25% each day, starting at about 40k gold. By the end of day 22, the total wealth could surpass 1 million gold. In order to achieve that though, that means me spending at least 70 hours a day in the game, making more spreadsheets, identifying more hot items to flip, accumulating more capitals to potentially corner some markets, and the total gold game would translate to just over $1,000 based on today's exchange rate. After that though, many items would likely not have enough supply to sustain the same practice at that scale, and the price could become more stable as time goes on. However, there will always be new patches and new content, and new supplies and demands and fluctuations will always be created as a result of that. Then the last question becomes, do I want to be a part of that? The answer is no. I can spend my time on other productive things elsewhere or play something else that I think is fair and fun. Elden Rings, here I come. I haven't played a MMO for years, and Lost Ark has been a fun and worthwhile learning experience. This is OverBidden, and I will see you next time.